Hello, hello, friends. Look at all these wonderful faces here in chat. I'm so glad you all are here and joining us because we are here at Pink Pixels where we tell amazing stories, where we dive into the lives of amazing women in the gaming space. It helps us better understand of what it means to be a gamer, how we have the opportunity to really not just play games, but to create communities, to enrich our own lives, for us to tell our stories the way that we want to. And so I'm so glad to see all of these amazing names flying up in chat. Keep putting those emotes up and know that you're part of this conversation. Questions that you have, experiences that you've shared, type them all out. This is an opportunity for us to continue to learn and explore, not just about who we are in the space, but also as we have our wonderful, amazing guest, Ash versus Evil Bread tonight, we're going to learn from her perspective and her stories and what she's gone through. So bring all of the details, especially some of you who know her from stream. I want to hear the things that she isn't saying here tonight. I know you all will rat her out. That's what a community is here for, right? Well, you know what? I've done enough talking tonight. Let us turn us over to our wonderful guest. Ash, please, if you'd be so kind, say hello to us.
Hi! Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to see familiar faces in chat. It makes me feel a little bit more comfortable because I'm really nervous, but I know it's going to be a really great time, and I'm super excited to be here with Plastic Phoenix. So thank you so much for having me here tonight. For those of you who may not have ever met me before, I'm Ash vs Evil Bread. I am a horror streamer, a cosplayer. I was a self-taught makeup artist long time ago, and I was able to marry my love for makeup and nerd culture and fuse it together and really become something that has become the community with the Breadites for what it is today. Trying to think what else is about me. I was nominated for Cosplayer of the Year this year, which is really cool. So I got to show off a lot of my cosplays, which was amazing. We've got the amazing community here tonight, the Breadite Army. I also am semi founder-ish of the hashtag IBS Hotties because Ash vs Evil Bread, I tend to have a digestive issue. So I have a love for horror. I have a love for food that really doesn't like me. And henceforth there was Evil Bread and my name's Ash. So Ash vs Evil Bread and the love for Evil Dead.
It's a perfect combo. I love this, right? You have this lovely list of things that you've done, but at the core of it, you were Ash. Here you are sitting in this chair, joining us for a conversation. Now, you're a busy person. You stream quite a bit. Now, normally you'll be streaming typically starting at 8 p.m., right?
Yeah, in about an hour.
Yeah. But here you are dedicating your time to us. Talk us through, like, when you get prepared for a stream, how do you mentally put yourself in a place of like, all right, here we go. Let's get into this, right? How do you set yourself up?
Well, I usually end up, I'm a night owl. I'm a night creature.
Okay,
I'm a creature of the night. And I mean, I feel like it's on brand being all in love with horror, you know, creature of the night.
Yes, we love it. Bat wings everywhere.
Yes. So I typically do a lot of like my early stream stuff or work offline. And I always make sure that I take a pre-stream nap before I go in. And then I think about what I'm going to wear and how I want to do my makeup. And then I sort of fuse everything like that together.
Yes.
And then I end up just kind of showing up. And honestly, I usually have plans of what I like to do for streams, but they tend to derail all the time because of my community. So we do these fun little wheel spins. So if we get like hype trains or any sort of love given to chat, to the stream, we spin these wheels and we end up playing games with the community. Maybe I'll do some karaoke. It's really bad. I promise. It's really bad. But like, if you ever want to karaoke and you like it, like we could totally go.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just usually, there's plans, but they don't usually happen until maybe midnight. So I'll be talking for like 4 hours.
Wow. I mean, I love that, but that means a lot of improv energy. Like, there's one thing where like mentally you can prepare, like, here's what we're going to do. Here's the games that we're going to play, right? Like, you can prepare yourself. But then when you're like, yes, okay, let's change it up. And chat is like, I can see even Bumble there. Yes, the plans that you made, the plans that you thought you were making, that you were going to do, but you're not actually going to do because we have
plans
other
are there, but the plans.
Think again, right? And so it kind of derails And you are all in this moment. Now you are just you have charisma. I mentioned to you this off
Thank you.
stream, right? You've got energy, you flow well. But that how did is this just natural for you of like, hey, I can do this, we can talk for 4 hours? Is this something that you've had to develop? Where does this come from?
I think okay. So
Yes.
I so I was severely bullied when I was a kid. So
Okay.
not having friends is something that was really difficult for me.
Yeah.
So I have major social anxiety. So that's something that I kind of suffer with. And when we were
Yeah.
going to the Gamehurst Awards, I actually went in person. I took a 30-hour bus ride to go to this award show. Yeah, it's crazy. So I was so scared because I'm like, this is the first time where I'm going to be out with a group of people. They're going to kind of know me, sort of, maybe,
Yeah.
or get to know me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to talk to a single person because I'm so awkward. Um, but it ended up being one of the most like magical things ever,
Hmm.
where I just felt natural to like talk to people. Although there was one in particular
Hmm.
gal that came and talked to me, and I saw her in chat, Pretty But Gritty. She talked to me, and she was the first person that actually just spoke to me, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna gravitate towards you.
I found you. Good. Thank you.
And we were just like the same, like the love of everything.
Oh.
Um, but getting the charisma and getting that backbone definitely took a long time. I just celebrated my 4-year stream anniversary 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
Fireworks.
Choo, choo, choo.
All of it.
And I pulled up an old clip. So the very first thing that I technically streamed was Apex Legends.
Mhm.
I went from console to PC, and I'm like, all right, let's see this journey of me learning how to become like an FPS streamer and see what happens with this. And I won a game,
Mhm.
and I was just like, woo, yay, this is exciting. But like now me would be like, wow, like,
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
Well, you became
So
comfortable expressing yourself, is what it sounds
I
like.
couldn't. I was so
Yeah.
shy. And
Oh.
Phoenix in chat is my mod from day one.
Aw.
They've been around since forever, and they've seen like an immense growth in me from
Mhm.
then till now. And I even feel it within myself too, where I feel comfortable now to like open up about myself, having a bit of that transparency. But obviously, like when you're live and you're on the internet, you obviously want to keep certain things about yourself for you.
Yes.
But just being able to let my freak flag fly, I
Mhm.
guess, essentially. I
Yes.
was like, you know what? I may not be for everyone, and that's okay. And like my biggest thing, like I said, when I was bullied, I didn't have friends. I just
Yeah.
really wanted to have a community where I felt that this was my people. Like these are my people that I'm meant to hang out with, that are meant to be here. And we all kind of share in the same things. And to be honest, a lot of them don't really enjoy horror, but yet they're there because of the community and the family that we built all together.
Mhm.
So I always think of it as like a team effort
Yeah.
that we all kind of brought it together. So without them, I don't know if I would have been able to really truly let myself come through.
Oh, I love this. And I think your story resonates with so many in the gaming space of like we wanted to find our group, right? And we weren't finding it in other places in real life. And I love seeing what everyone's saying in chat, like Phoenix said, like you've grown so much and you've still been you. And I think that's the best part that I love reading out of this. Like it's who you are, but it's fully fleshed out, right? Like that you've grown, you've
I can't read that, I'll
blossomed.
cry.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
Baby.
save the makeup. Save the makeup, right? Yeah, 2.5 years. You've been in Ash's community from Bumblebounds, and you've seen tremendous amount of personal growth, and it's so heartwarming. And you're spot on. Like they're not there because maybe they love horror games. Maybe they do. But I think this is where it shows genuine connection of like just like how you care for friends. Like I don't have to love the same things that my friends love. I'm there and hanging out with them because I like them, not necessarily their hobbies. I'll watch them enjoy their hobbies because I support them and they're good friends. And like that's where you know you've made something really special. I think there's people who, especially those of us who, you know, who went through high school, middle school, where it felt a little bit more isolating or it was hard learning what we were. And at the time, you know, nerd culture has not really been embraced to the same degree that it is like within these past 5 years. Like it was different 6, 10 years ago or whenever we were in high school, right? Like it was
Yeah, don't worry about
yeah,
that.
yeah, it's a different number at this point, right? Like, but it's different than how it's being embraced today or being sold on a mass market level or easy to access and find communities. What has it been like for you though to find your community? What does that mean to you to be able to say like every time you turn on the stream or every time you go to your Discord, you have good people there, that you have found yourself surrounded, that people love and are excited about who you are and what you do?
Honestly, I just feel like everyone that comes in deserves a level of kindness until obviously they've proved themselves that maybe they're not kind people unless they made a mistake or they didn't read the room or anything like that. But
Yeah.
we typically allow everyone to come and take a seat at our table. Like, come and sit with us, see what we're like. Um, Finding out things that, we may not all enjoy the same things, but we still just end up enjoying the learning with each other. So like I've been introducing a lot of like horror culture to them where we do like our horror movie nights in Discord every Sunday. So I introduced a new movie. We used to watch some classics. We'll watch really campy stuff or we'll watch like the really good stuff. But sometimes we'll just like dabble into something completely random. Like for the first time ever, I watched The Lord of the Rings and we watched the extended cut
Yes.
this Saturday. We watched all 3 of them. So we spent 12 hours and they literally stayed 12 hours with me. I had no idea that it was so beloved. Like I knew that it was a really big deal because they keep saying like, how you've never watched this before. I'm like, I watch horror movies. I also don't really have time for TV. Anytime I watch anything, it's, with you guys. So I'm like, you know what? Fine.
Yes.
You want this? Let's see if we got this. So we just literally seen what Lord of the Rings meant for them was them introducing something to me where it's like almost the way I introduced horror stuff to them. So seeing their love and excitement for it gets me so excited. And I just love being able to learn stuff that they love and being able to kind of bring those little aspects into the streams as well.
That's brilliant.
Like for example,
yeah,
I had a Gollum cosplay. It was nightmare fuel. Let me tell you, it was nightmare fuel. It was so bad.
No,
like it was good, but bad, like bad good. It's so yeah, I did a whole Gollum thing. I did a whole shtick. I stood on my chair. I had the feet. I had like the fish. I ate one of my cat's fish toys that like flops. What? There was so much fur in my mouth. I'm like, I really went for it. Like
I respect it though. Like you're like, if we're gonna do this, we fully commit, and that is the only way we do this. Here we go. Listen, Gollum that's it. That's sexy. I love it. You are now the yes. I can. That's so bold. I need this. Is this somewhere on like Instagram or something? I didn't see any of this.
I definitely think that it's on Twitter.
Okay.
I think it is on Twitter.
That's where I need to find it.
I've done stories. I haven't posted it on Instagram officially yet, but I've done stories and Tiff just said that confirmed it jump scared her while she was going through her stories.
Oh, God.
It was so bad. It's the eyes. It was the eyes.
Then it's effective. You did it right. I'm proud of you. That's amazing.
I literally made eyes. So like all of my cosplays, I use paper towel and glue or any household product I can find. And I just like, I cut a toilet paper roll and I had some like fake skin because I also have like professional products too that I like to use. So I made like these eyes and I thought like I made them nice and big and I don't have paints or anything and I'm not a painter, but I painted the eyes with body paint on a piece of paper. And then I stuck them on a pair of glasses and I was just like on and off because I couldn't see out of them. And then we have a filter where it makes your face like your lips really big and it made the eyes extra like googly. So it was a wild time and I just embraced it. I'm like, you know what? Everyone's having fun with this. We're gonna go with it.
I love this. Yes, Bumble, please share me the link to this. But I think this is where you're like, there's a certain degree of vulnerability that you offer here. Like you're putting yourself in the position of doing something insane. Let's be clear. Gollum is ambitious for anyone to ever think. Like, and you went for it and you put cat toys in your mouth. Not like clean, brand new cat toys.
No, they were.
Yeah.
It was literally like I was pulling fur out of my eyes and I tried to clean it as best I could, but I was still pulling fur out of my mouth. I'm like, I'm not going to do this. And then again, I eventually do it. Like a raid comes in. I'm like, all right, let's just go all in again.
Yeah. Well, you see the moment you're like, well, why not? We're having a blast. But that comes from having a space where you feel comfortable doing it. Like it wouldn't happen if you had a community who constantly said, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing
I know. They always say, what are you doing? Like,
But they're like, keep going. Like, we love you. Do this. It's a different energy. And you can read that. You know, it's a different energy. I love it. I love that you can have this fun because so many, especially in moments like this as streamers, right? We curate these moments. We create things of like how we want to be presented. And for you to be able to be so full, right? To be so just complete with the expression, the full, complete commitment to what you're doing. I think that's fantastic. And yes, I thank you for that link.
Oh,
This
God.
is, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. When you all talked about the eyes, I'm gonna find a way to share. Hold on. Hold on. I have
Oh no.
I think I only have
Oh,
one
no.
screen. Is it all right with you if I share
Oh
this?
yeah, that's fine. Go
Okay.
ahead. I mean, I put it on the internet, so I approve.
I think I only have one scene set up where I might be able to share this, but let me see if I can get this up. Here we go.
Oh,
It
God.
is amazing. I love this. This is so freaking well done. Oh my gosh. I want to do a Lord of the Rings party with you, and I would pay you to come dressed like this.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone
I
would
painted
want
my
pictures
teeth
with
too,
you.
like all of it, just
Oh
to.
my gosh. You are phenomenal. And the eyes are horrifying.
Oh yeah, they're terrifying.
That's exactly as they should be. Honestly, yes. You nailed it.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us share this. But
Of course.
But I love this.
Yeah.
Now, you've been doing cosplay for a while, right? Obviously, you're a talented makeup artist. You can create things. When did you decide to go from just the typical makeup looks into let's branch out into more cosplays, more into the fantastical, the creation, the fiction?
Well, so like I said, I'm a self-taught makeup artist,
Yeah.
and I've always worked in cosmetics.
Mhm.
My mom has like a background being an esthetician. She also has done cosmetology as well, but she's never really taught me anything, but I've just always kind of been around it.
Mhm.
So throughout college and everything, I was working for a beauty company, and I was studying public relations, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to use what I'm learning in school and apply it to a YouTube channel and start doing makeup tutorials.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, but it wasn't until maybe like a year later I started to explore through the special effects and seeing how that was. And I fell in love with it. And then I was starting to see like more artists on Instagram, like following me who did like body painting and did other special effects. I'm like, this is so awesome. And so then we would do collaborations. And I'm like, I've never done a body paint before, but okay, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
So
Commit.
I started to do that and I fell in love with it. I ended up graduating college and I was working for another company and stopped YouTube. So I didn't do that anymore. And I didn't really do any more makeup or anything like that either. So it kind of like sort of sucked the fun out of it for me. But then once COVID hit, I had all this equipment and somebody back in the day was like, hey, you should totally stream. You're just sitting on your ass anyway, playing video games. Why don't you stream? And I'm like, okay. So I did that. And that's when I was really shy to like get myself out there. And it wasn't till almost, I want to say like a year later, because it was December when I hit affiliate. So then that October, I was like, you know what? I love horror. Why don't I do a cosplay every single stream in the month of October? 18, by the way, 18 streams that I do,
Oh my.
and do a new horror character and just see what's up. I did everything the morning of. I was like, all right, so I'm going to be Freddy Krueger today. I'm going to be whoever today. And I'll like look up an inspiration of like what that movie character is. And then I would just like paint my face or like work with the products that I have. Because I've always bought stuff. I just never used it.
Yeah.
And, you know, seeing the response, how everyone really enjoyed it, I was like, okay, this was a lot of work. I ain't doing this again. Like, this is too much work doing 18 freaking looks. Are you kidding me?
It is a lot. It's
So-
just not only putting it on, but then keeping it on for the full stream and then taking it
Yeah.
off, right? Like it's a
Like,
lot.
there was one night I was, if you ever seen The Exorcist, Reagan, the main chick,
Mhm.
the one that does the pea soup puke. So I dressed up as her. I would thrift everything. So I found like a really old like nightgown and I had some neon green paint and I was like, all right, let's put this on here. And I did all my scars and everything. And my mom was sleeping on the couch. And I'm like, I don't like when you sleep on the couch. You're hurting your back. I forgot I was in makeup and she
Oh no.
hates this movie. Like, this is nightmare for her because she was young when she saw it and she's like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. I woke her up and nearly gave her a heart attack.
You monster. You monster. You could have killed
I
her.
forgot that I was in makeup. I was just like in it all night that I forgot. And I was like, huh, wake up.
It's
Like,
hard.
you're gonna hurt your back. And then she was just like, ah!
That is the worst way to wake up. That is
Yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah. I
No.
felt really bad.
No. Naps are already really tough to wake up from. And to do it this way, as the most horrifying individual in the horror
Yeah.
genre. Okay.
I'm
Yep.
always like, all right, I'll make sure that if I
Yep.
ever have to go wake her up, I'm just gonna not be in makeup.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the next year came around and after I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
I was feeling sad. And sad in a way of like my creativity just felt like it was at a low where I'm like, I really love doing makeup and I really did enjoy, even though it was so much pressure to make sure that I did looks every single stream.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Maybe if I prepare this time, it won't be so bad. So I prepared like a month in advance of all the cosplays I was going to do. I went to the thrift stores to get things. If I had to cut stuff or glue things together, I did. I don't know how to do like what other cosplayers can do, like when it comes to that like foam and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, toilet paper glue. I got this.
Yeah. Make it
So,
happen.
my shower I use as a storage closet. Essentially, there's like 2 showers here, but one of them is a storage unit, and I have like all of my cosplays just hanging up on the shower. And I'm like, all right,
Naturally.
Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, these are what you are today or this week. So I planned in advance, and then seeing that year how many people actually came and watched it, like they remembered from the year before.
Mhm.
So it may not have like carried on a lot of like people that would continue to watch me after the first October, but people came back to the next October where they were like, I remember you did this. Are you doing this again? And I'm like, yeah, kind of am.
Here
So
we
it was
are.
kind of cool because then by the 3rd year, people knew about it
Mhm.
and they were just so excited for October. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait. Like, see what we're going to do. And every final stream, there'd be like a grand finale. So I did like a really creepy clown. That was like my very first body paint I've ever done. And I recreated it with like the venom mouth that I put all on my chest.
Oh.
The second year, I forgot what I did the second year. I'm
All right,
trying to
chat.
remember.
Give in with
was
your
it Freddy
knowledge.
Krueger? Might have been, no, Freddy Krueger was the night before. I forget. Maybe somebody will remember. But 3rd year, I was Vecna. And I ended up putting on an entire I made it in 48 hours. I used yarn in a bodysuit. And I went to the store. My mom's like, what are you going to do with this yarn? I'm like, I'm going to make this tree bark. She's like, I don't see it. I don't know what you're doing. I'm like, no, just
What?
trust the process. And I always tell stream, trust the process.
It'll look
and
good, believe me.
and then I showed up in like the Vecna, like I only did like gear up because I didn't have time to do legs
That's
and I
fair.
have to sit. So
Yeah. I mean, that's the best part about being on stream. They see one angle of you. You
streamers
don't have to worry
legs.
about behind. You don't have to worry about below.
No. So yeah. Cool.
I think I lost your camera there for a second. Hold on.
Oh no.
Hold on. I don't know
That's
what just
okay.
happened. It's okay. We'll bring you back.
Oh, whoa.
Maybe this is like your next cosplay.
I'm
It's
cosplaying as
camouflage.
the Invisible Man.
Where did she go? That's. We've
I'm
got
David Blaine.
David Blade. Oh my God! Please. Let me try to bring this in again. We love the mystery. This is now you are a voiceover for us.
Ooh, who can it be? Ooh. Hello.
This could be interesting.
Welcome in chat.
No.
Do you know who I am?
I might have you try to turn your camera on and off. I
My
love
camera?
a little. Yeah, let's see what we'll see. I don't know if tech is
Uh,
just. Of course, it once
see.
it puts us in for a ringer. Ah!
It's a me.
Connected.
It was a me problem,
No.
not a you problem.
We don't
it was
know
a
what it
me
was.
problem.
Mystery. We love it. We love it. Okay. I love that each time you lead up for your cosplays into something big, but it just showcases me like a larger trend that you are a creative person. Like if you,
Thank you.
I mean, I'm kind of with your mom on this on Mama Bread. Is that what we go with? I think
Mama
I said
Bread.
Mama Bread.
We call her
Okay.
Mama Bread.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Jason. Was Jason the one you were forgetting? Someone asked Bumble. Crap.
That was during the pumpkin carving. So the next, it might have been Freddie. I think I was Freddie for the finale because I did
Or the Dead
I met Bumbies when I was Jason. And so Bumbies has never seen my face. And I didn't stream for a week after that because I needed a break.
Who are they? I'll never recognize
So Bumbies didn't even
anything.
know what I looked like. And then, oh, it was the Deadite. Yes. So
Here we go.
I was the Deadite. So I was like, I'll be the Breadite. So I
Yeah.
had my green hair because I used to have neon green hair. And then I did like the eyes, like with the skin stuff again, and I
Yes.
put it over. But I was stressed out so hard because I was playing Tormented Souls, and I was doing this puzzle that I just loathed, and I was sweating, and like the skin on my brows were just like slowly just falling over, and eventually just went
That kind
fell
of adds
right
to the
off.
cosplay, though, right? Like the action of the eyebrow falling
I'm melting.
off. That's a unique thing to make that happen, right? And it was all on purpose, all on command. It's part of the being the Deadite, right? It's a full commitment.
It is.
I
That's the
love it.
thing. You go big or go home.
Yes.
But the most, I think, interesting year was this past year in October. So there's the SAG after strike.
Yes.
And I was standing with a lot of my friends who are in the industry and other creators that are voice actors or like on film. And I was standing with them and I'm like, okay, this year we're not going to do any cosplaying. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to put it on hold for now. Maybe I could do some video game ones here and there, but I just kind of stopped it altogether.
Mhm.
And because October was rolling around and they were still kind of on strike and I didn't know what to plan, I decided to do this whole NPC build sort of thing. Like, we get to build a character in like Dark Souls or whatever, like Baldur's Gate and whatever.
Yeah.
So I had listed on like spreadsheets, like, okay, I have all these colored wigs, I have all these colored contact lenses, I have all these different makeup colors. Like, okay, you guys will get to choose from a category and build your own characters. So we ended
Oh,
up having a total of, I think, 15 or 16 looks that the community built, which was really awesome.
that is amazing.
So
What a fun
it was
interactive idea.
it was probably one of like the best Octobers I had
Oh
because
my
again,
God.
it got to bring the community into it. And I try to do whatever I can to get them more involved with the stream or what ideas they may have that they might like to see. And when I thought of this, I'm like, oh, they might like this. I'm like, it may not work, but you know what? If it doesn't work, we tried. Even if
Yeah.
we get 3 looks, who cares? Like, we'll
Yeah.
try. We'll see what happens. And they fell in love with it. And it's like something that we're going to continue doing, not only just for October's, but we'll probably do like a half like characters, half what they're going to build. And then we also have a point redeem, but I'm catching up with everything from the SAG after strike that I didn't get to do because there are cosplay redeems on the stream. So because there's some that I missed that I couldn't do then, I'm trying to catch up now. So they'll eventually be live where they get to choose and create their own characters again.
Oh my gosh. I think this is amazing. Earlier we were mentioning like you were a creative individual, but I think this is a great place where it's not you just bringing your creativity, but again, it's that give and take. Like how you share horror, they share Lord of the Rings, how you have like, here's my creative side, and they're like, here, let us give you ideas. And then it just amplifies. I think that's the best case scenario that we ever hope in communities like this is that you bring out the best in each other. Like, here's where we go. We create better things, cooler things, more unique things when we're together. We're bouncing ideas off of each other. Yeah, the build an ash experience. I think that's amazing.
The
Honestly,
building it.
there's a whole little song around this. You need this as like a set show, please and thank you.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah, like hearing like you use this as inspiration. It reminds me of like different film challenges that some like filmmakers will go through. Where they'll get a prompt, or like writers will get a prompt here or there, and that helps spark a challenge for themselves to say, I never thought of something like that as a route. Where do I take this? And that's so important to the creative process. And now you've built it in and something that continues to grow. Kudos to you for doing it as often, because how do you make sure that well of creativity doesn't run dry? Like, at what point do you like, I've kind of already done this before? Or do you give yourself permission around that too?
I mean, I feel like everyone's kind of like their worst critic because there'll be
Yeah.
times where I would build the characters and knowing that this is something that the community created,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here like self-doubting myself, like, oh God, this looks really bad. Like, I don't know if anyone's gonna really like this. But then they just like they love it and they get to see their creations come to life. And then there's times where I'm just sitting here like, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Like, I'll play a game, and if I'm playing it for a while and there's something that I like in it, I dig through my closet. I'm like, maybe I could do a cosplay. So then I ended up playing the Doki Doki Literature Club game, and I knew that Monica was a character, but I didn't know how important she was.
Hmm.
So I dressed up as Monica, but I was like, yeah, I'll just be this random student, and everyone was just like, that's Monica. It's just Monica,
Nailed
and
it.
I'm like who? I don't even know who they are yet. So it was kind of funny to kind of see that. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's just trying to think of ways. And also, if I feel like my cosplays are kind of like, nah, I usually put in like point redeems for stuff that are
Mhm.
in the universe of the cosplay. So I did a Hela from Thor
Yes.
cosplay. And so I had like green smoke that they could have puff up on the stream whenever they wanted to. There'll be like a flame that would just like, if I like they redeem it, I'll go like this, and like a little flame will just come up over my hand. And I'll just do like little things or like funny quotes, like when she drops stuff or she's making a mess of things. There's just like little things that I would just bring in, and like the raids and follows. I'll usually change my alerts to match what we're cosplaying, just so it's
Wow.
something that is like a little extra,
A
just in
little.
case if
Just
things don't turn out that great.
a
It's
little.
like at least those things will entertain you.
A little extra. Okay, hold on. You are downplaying this a lot because I hear that and go, that sounds like a lot to do. Like not even just the makeup side. Like to me, the makeup also is like that's a daunting endeavor. And you're like, here we are, we're making a whole NPC. We're taking they want this wig, we're doing that costume, like, and you put something together. But now you're thinking like the full production, right? You aren't just a performer. You're not just an artist. You are doing a full show production. You are a director. You are the creative director of yours. You're the show producer, right? Like you're doing so much. Yeah, like the little extra, but you spend so many days. I want to talk about this because I feel like this often gets hidden because all people see on the stream are like the cool alerts or yeah, they get to put off the smoke. Where did you start learning to say I need to start adding more to my stream? I need to do more ways for them to interact. Why did you do it and how did you do that?
I guess what started me doing that was when I started doing more of the extra
Mhm.
cosplays that would go on. So after the 3rd October,
Yeah.
I was really enjoying the cosplays, and more people were noticing all these cosplays and being like, do you only just cosplay now, like in October? Like, do you do any other cosplays? I was like, not really. Like, I just save everything for then.
Yeah.
So that year, I allowed like redeems and be like, all right, if you want like a cosplay of something, if I have enough to save up and go get this cosplay, I'll do it. Or sometimes we'll do community goals if it's like a really big thing. And after they tell me what they would like, what they redeem, then I'll start putting everything together. And it'll be like a day or two where I'm just like, all right, what am I going to do? Sometimes the day of the stream, I'm like, oh, this could be a good idea. Let me see if I can like find something or make something. Like, so yeah, I just kind of do those little things here and there.
That you again, you mentioned like little things, but every single thing like you're going in, you're adding in a new this alert, you got to connect it with your OBS, like you are making sure like whatever you have in your space, this is a lot to consider. And I think people
But I'll say,
just turn on
if
the
anyone
camera.
uses Mix It Up,
Yeah.
if you have an existing overlay or anything that you like, just
Mhm.
kind of click off, like just don't delete it, just click off of it and add a new one. So, or just like replace it, like duplicate it and then just replace whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you're going to do an alert or something, cause like that would be super, super quick to do.
That is
Um,
brilliant.
so then when you're back the next day, you're like, oh God, what did I do? I used to use the same overlay, same everything. And I would have to go back the next day and rush and be like, okay, because I had notes written down. Okay,
Yeah.
this is what this used to be. This is what that used to be. Because I would change everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is
Just keep
dumb.
it all. Just
There's
keep it
got to
all.
be a better
Yeah.
way to do this.
Let's just hold up the example here and duplicate it across instead
Yep.
of rebuilding it every single time. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I think this is important because I'm gonna call you out just like what Pink said. Like you are being very modest and humble and making it sound like, oh yeah, if you just do this. It is a lot of work. There's a reason why you don't see a lot of content creators doing what you do. And that's because there's some technical expertise that you are bringing to your stream. There is a creative thought process that you've put behind it that some content creators don't do, whether they don't have time or they don't think about it or they don't think it's the right fit. You're going this extra effort. And I want to call that out because I don't want you to diminish what you've created. That is not easy. It may be easy for you for now, right? Because you've done it for so many times and you're talented and skillful and you've mastered that. But for many of us, when we hear that, like, that's a lot. That is amazing. You are a freaking hero to be able to do all that. And then some of it that you're doing day of, like, that would put me in a panic. Like, what? No, I can't do that.
Oh, believe me, I'm panicking, but by the time I go live, I'm like, all right, this is fine.
Yeah, we got this. We got this. But
We got this. I mean, if something doesn't get done,
yeah,
I think I'm going to be the only one that notices it. And then I tend to be the person that like, hey, so like I didn't get to do this or this looks silly or whatever. Because if someone notices it and calls it out, I'm just like, I'm going to call it out first.
you just let me do this.
Yeah, let me tell you what's wrong with it before you tell me what's wrong with it.
Yeah. Okay. You sound like a perfectionist a little bit there. I hear that. I hear it. I hear it. You're like,
so I just want everything to look really cool and different. And again, just things that people don't expect when they come into the stream either. Because I want it to be that like full interactive feeling that they're also getting to enjoy and make like those alerts and stuff that go off that makes the cosplay more involved for them instead of me just sitting there and being like, yeah, I put this together.
Here we go, hodgepodge.
Here we are.
No, I love it. I love it. But again, like this is just another way that you kind of add to your work. I'm gonna kind of build off of what Mari said. Like I imagine like this is all as sharply executed as your eyeliner. Like it's fantastic. Look at that crisp line. Like I think if you can get a sharp eyeliner like that, you can do anything. Okay.
Why, thank you.
That is talent. We can see it. We know it at this point. But yeah, like you've done all of this, and now you've been doing this for 4 years. Congratulations on your stream anniversary. What have been some of your favorite moments in doing all of this, right? Like now you look back, 4 years you have done this. Your legacy is being built. What is it that you've loved that you've created? No perfectionist moments, no critiquing and breaking it down. What do you love?
Fine.
Yes.
I think the number one thing is the community. That will always be like the one thing I'm extremely proud of. And like, I'm not saying that because they're literally here supporting me right now, but like, it just shows you like the community that we have there is just so strong and loving and so together as a unit. So that's something I'm extremely proud of. And like I said, I didn't have people to hang out with. These are my homies. Like these are the people I love to hang out with. And I get to see them 4 days a week, five nights a week when we do our movie nights and stuff. So it's, you know, that's one of the big things for me. Definitely expanding on the creativity, which has been really awesome. Being able to, after the last year of doing those build, the NPCs, the Ash NPCs, that was really cool. So seeing how to get the community once again involved was a really big deal.
Yeah.
Let's see. No. Going to the gamers, like that was something really major for me, was being recognized for the cosplays. I've been recognized before for being a horror streamer, and the gamers was just something on like a really grand scale that I couldn't even fathom. So to be able, again, the community got me there to begin with, because I do this full time. Like this is my job, and it's not the most reliable income all the time. And I was like, I really want to go to this award show, but I don't know if it's going to make me selfish or not. And, you know, maybe we can work together. And the community was like, no, we need you to go there. Like, here,
you need to, you deserve this. Yes.
So I went there and I just soaked it all in. And, you know, even though I didn't necessarily win, I was still a finalist, and that was still a win to me. And being able to represent myself and be myself, like I ended up winning a Techni chair, and I
looking cool with a little cat is it cat or bat ears? I can't tell from the shape.
I know they look like little bat ears, but it's a kitty.
Oh, okay. Look at it could be a bat with a cute little nose. They're kind of like,
but it comes with a tail.
Okay, that's funny too. Yes, I love that. It comes with a tail naturally.
It comes with a tail.
Why didn't I think of that? Of course it does.
Because I'm a crazy cat lady. So I was like, all right. Also, which is really cool, as a big milestone for us too, was we are in a video game, which is really cool.
What?
I'm featured with a bunch of horror streamers. And not necessarily like I'm not voiced, I'm not like an NPC myself.
Yeah.
But there is a horror game that a demo is out right now, and you will see me in it. um, it's called Unfollow, and it's almost like a live stream thing. So there's all these horror streamers that are in there, and you just gotta like look out for me, and I may lead you astray, or I may help you, or I don't know. So you just gotta play the game to see what happens.
Friend or foe, we don't know. I love this. How exciting of a okay. I think you're highlighting a lot of great things, but I'm really excited about this Unfollow thing because it again, like it's bringing together like this gaming, the horror, this creation that you do all together. Like, is that something that you ever hoped to happen, or was it just like when someone brought it to you, you're like, oh, I didn't even know this was an option?
So the company ended up reaching out to me, and that's
Mhm.
probably because I've been streaming so many horror games.
Yeah.
And I think the whole thing for them was, hey, we have this in mind, and we can give you like a little bit of detail, like obviously not too much,
Yeah.
if it'd be something you're interested in. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it definitely covers like some sensitive topics, the game, like most horror games do,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But the way that they approached it, I was like, okay, cool. I don't mind. I just don't want to be a bully. Like, please don't make me be a bully. 'Cause then I'm not telling anyone that I'm in this game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my name on the line.
Right, like and that's the interesting thing. It's not like a character you're playing, like it's you. It's representative of you in this space. And so while you can be evil, right, there's still like boundaries of where you're comfortable in being portrayed. I think
I
that's
mean, if they made
appropriate.
me evil, so be it, I guess. It's a video game.
Right.
Obviously, it's not me, but like knowing me, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't want to seem mean.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, I want people to like me. Let me be the person. I'm excited. I'm excited. When do we get more details about this? Or is it to be
So the
announced?
demo is out.
Okay.
There should be a second
Okay.
demo wave that is being released too. It should be out this year though.
Oh
I
my
think they said
gosh.
Q4, so just a little
Ooh.
time away. But there's still a demo, and you still will see in the
Ta-da.
demo.
Ta-da. Oh my
Ta-da!
gosh. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. That is amazing. I honestly, I'm thrilled for you because that's the idea is like I want this to be an experience that is fulfilling for you, right? Like when we go through content creation, there are a lot of challenges to it as well.
Mhm.
And I know we're going to get ready to take our 5-minute break soon and when we come
Already?
back,
Oh,
I know, right? Like we are flying through this. I was like, I looked down at the camera, I was like, no, really? Where's my Oh, no, I got it. I found it again. I was like reaching in a barrel trying to find this fish. I found it. That's not how you
Fish, you
play this
say?
game. Um, but I want to talk more about two things because you kind of threw some hooks out for me. Why am I on a fishing metaphor right now? Forget this.
It was Gollum.
Yeah, that's it. This is your fault. Let's just
I'm sorry.
pin this on you, okay? But I want to talk about, of course, the challenges that you've gone through, like how you, because you've overcome them, you still do it. And let's not paint this always as like the easiest or the funnest thing to do. There are things that you've had to overcome, difficulties that are natural within content creation. And I also want to talk specifically about horror. Admittedly, it is not a place that I venture into often, being an absolute scaredy cat. I would be more like your chair hiding behind you if you were ever watching a movie, right? Like that would be me. But
Right. I'll tell you when to cover your eyes.
yeah, that's what I need. But I want to hear your takes on the genre, right? Like why horror? What are your takes on when they do have to handle often difficult or unsavory topics? I want to give it into this, especially as our horror expert this evening. I want to know more. How does that sound?
Perfect.
Awesome.
I love diving into horror. Oh my God.
Perfect. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, we'll be going on and on.
All right, friends. That's where we're going to pick up. Okay, so we're going to take our 5-minute break. Ash, you go ahead and hop into it. I'm going to do a quick connection with our viewers real quick, a little giveaway actually, and then we'll come back and we'll have our big fun discussion. So for all of you who have been here in chat, congratulations. As long as you've been typing something at some point in time, we have a little giveaway from our friends at Zenny Optic, right? They're wonderful partners of ours. They have very cool glasses that they have on their site that you can do the virtual try on. You can get a couple different sizes, great choices all around. And we're going to be doing a giveaway. They have a variety of products. Sometimes we just think glasses, but there's a lot of eye accessories they have. So let's go ahead and get ready for our wonderful giveaway. Little Temptress, we're going to do a virtual drum roll. I'm trying. I don't really have the mouth capabilities to make a really good drum roll. Please forgive me. But we have the idea. And our winner is announced in chat. Let's find out. It is, I love a big secret. Fish? No, it's Kristen. Kristen has won the giveaway. Congratulations, Kristen. Please make sure that you DM the Gamers channel, all right? And we will get details to send it out to you so that way you can get a little gift from Zenni Optic. Congratulations. All right, we have one more little announcement for you all. Actually, this is really kind of nicely timed because, of course, we've had our wonderful horror expert here this evening, and I want us to take this opportunity to also highlight, of course, one more individual. So we are going to hop over real quick to our Thunder Picks announcement. So as we do this, I want us to be able to talk about who our amazing Thunder Picks individual is. As we do this, of course, be encouraging, be supportive, and if you didn't know, for our Thunder Picks winner, they get a nice little swag bag and details. We'll talk about more about that in a second, but all you have to do is go over to the Gamers Instagram account, and there's a link in our bio to talk more about how you can nominate somebody, a gamer, a gamer for the Thunder Picks choice. This allows us to highlight women in the gaming space, kind of send a little reward their way. So please, if you have the opportunity to do so, check that out. So let me go ahead and set this up so that way we are prepared to share it over. I'm going to actually do a quick little switch over for our materials as I get this uploaded for us real quick. So I appreciate everyone's patience. It's a little last minute change as we love to pull these lives. And of course, we want to make sure that this is always done. We're pulling from our latest Instagram. So I appreciate everyone's patience. Your kindness is, well, it is perhaps somewhat limited, but it won't take me too much longer as I pull this directly from my desktop. There we go. All right, now that I've got it added up, we are going to hop on over to our Pink Picks switch over here. Let's do this. I cannot wait to announce today's winner for Xbox Bree. Let's get ready to say hello and swap this over. Ta-da! Here is our wonderful winner for the evening. Let us give a big shout out to Xbox Bree. They're an amazing and talented individual. They are our Thunder Picks choice of this evening. A little bio about Bree. She also, like our amazing guest tonight, is a horror streamer, but also tags in a variety of games tagged in here and there, and also loves to do the cosplaying and special effects makeup. While not gaming, all right, Bree also enjoys riding her horse, Zeus, and going on hikes. So to learn more about Xbox Bree, hop on over to Xbox Bree on Instagram and Twitter, Xbox Bree 60, to be able to see more of their amazing looks. All right, friends, we're going to go ahead and move into our wonderful 5-minute break, and we'll be back soon. right, good friends, we are back. I am Caustic Phoenix here with Ash vs. Evil Bread, and we are in our second half of our show, and we have been having an amazing discussion. Fish will never be mentioned for the rest of our show. I guarantee it. And
So no sushi.
yeah, not at all. Not at all. We just have to avoid it. Pretend that fish do not exist in our world anymore. Thank you for helping me with this clear problem that I have.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Right? I have a lot of problems. But one thing I'm
Don't
wanting
just add it to the list.
it's fine. We're on page 10 at this point. But I want to actually take a moment to dive into one thing that I do often have a problem with, and it's horror genres in general. I don't care if it's a book, it's a movie, it's a video game, it's a TV show. They all scare me. But obviously there's a huge audience around it. Why does horror appeal to you? Why do you get into it?
You know, I think it has something to do with like the thrill of it all. I don't consider myself like a mystery streamer or lover or anything, but I'm always like curious to know like, okay, what's like this origin story? What happened? Why are they like this? Like it's the same way that I like watching true crime stuff, where I'm just like, I want to get into like the psyche of that person and trying to understand. So the way that I just love horror is just like, why are they like this? Why are they doing this? So I'm always curious to know what like their story is at the end of the day. So I really do enjoy that. Also, I just love having like that sitting at the edge of your seat feel within certain things. So that's always super fun for me. But those jump scares though, when they come in, I'm just like,
Nope.
But I'm like, was it really necessary?
Yeah. It is certainly something that is purposely to make you uncomfortable. How do you get used to that? Do you?
I don't.
Okay. All right. Good.
Just you know, I don't get you don't. You just you accept it. You know it's a fact that it's gonna happen, and you just roll with it.
Yeah.
You just gotta let it fall where it may. And if you crap your pants, well, bring an extra pair.
There you go.
That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say.
Get a dishwasher. Get a washer. Wash them out. Dishwasher. You know, I've done cleaning of clothes before. But I think I'm glad to hear this. And I also think it makes sense now. Like for me, when I'm like, who would want to be uncomfortable? But when you talk about like wanting to understand people, right? Discomfort is definitely a human experience for us. Being uncomfortable is very common for many of us.
Yeah,
Right. And
it's
again,
true.
most of the
No
time,
matter where it comes,
yeah,
it's gonna
right.
be something. If it's not in horror, it'll be something else that'll make
Yeah.
you uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's a variety, like
Secondhand embarrassment.
secondhand embarrassment, social situations, right? Like that's not an unfamiliar thing. And so I think that it's a fair point to be like, when we think of a lot of different stories, that's not one that we often touch upon very long. And so I think you're right. Like when we look at the human experience, right? Horror provides a lot of other things too, like motivation. Is it out of fear? Is it out of love? Right? What curiosity? What is it that motivates us, moves us? Maybe it's to get out of an uncomfortable situation. And as we explore it, right, it's a chance for also to see like how we handle those same feelings as we see other characters do it. Oh, interesting.
I think so too, in a way. Like, there's like this whole thing on like the final girl, right? Where it's they pick somebody who either just seemed to be the shy, coy person, and then all of a sudden they found their strength throughout this journey.
Yeah.
But there's always been like a two-sided coin to everything where people are like, why is it always like this girl? Like, why can't it be like a dude or whatever? So I feel that a lot in horror, people are drawn to the female protagonist all the time because they're just like their empathy, their vulnerability, and the way that they're able to portray their emotions. I think you sort of connect with them and you just really want to see that growth and have that hope for someone. It's like sometimes they make characters for guys to just be so awful and you're like, it's so hard to actually really like you right now. So you're doing a really good job, but it's just, I don't know, maybe it's because for myself where I'm like, if I was put in that situation, I could be like her.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of almost like that little motivated feel. And I think that's why, especially for a lot of horror, there's always that final girl moment. And so, yeah, I like to see the growth of the characters. I think that's really important.
I like that. I think that's fair. And just like with a lot of other genres, horror has their own tropes that they revisit. The only time I'm familiar with it is because I was brave enough and because it was fun enough to watch Cabin in the Woods, which I think was my best glimpse at understanding perhaps some of the tropes that we might see, like the stereotypes of
That's a pretty good one.
characters, like monsters. Yeah, it's hilarious,
You had
which
a
is
little bit of
why
everything
like
there.
there's a nice balance that I can put in. I still think that's one of the best depictions of mermaids in all of movie cinema. I wish we could see more of a movie where it was just with the mermaids. I'd be very intrigued. But right, like it kind of pulls into this kind of challenge. Talk to me about like how women are portrayed. Like we know that there are these common stereotypes or tropes within these stories with women in the horror scene, right? What do their narratives typically look like if they are the survivor, or whatever role do they play?
I find that for horror,
Yeah.
they definitely make a lot of the more overtly sexy women, the big boobed ones, the less clothing, always die at least like second.
Yeah.
Like usually they're, you're gonna die.
They're in
So
a sex scene or a makeout
Maybe if you
scene.
end up throwing on a turtleneck at some point in the
shower.
movie, maybe you might survive. Maybe.
That's the
So,
trick. We should go all Velma. All right, got
Yeah.
this.
Always also, if you notice too, a lot of the time, final girls or somebody who is going to be like that final person,
Yeah.
there's always like usually something white on them that they end up
Oh.
having. So it's like they might be like,
Oh, like, oh no.
you're in a white t-shirt.
I have a chance to make it to the end. Got
There's
it.
a chance.
Got it.
But yeah, usually like they're always like there's some. It's almost like I don't know if it's like a aura or like a thing. I don't even know, but it's just usually kind of like that. By the end of the movies, they are usually like in something white. It's like a Hallmark movie. They always end up wearing red at the end. You know, you're at the end of the movie is when she is in a red dress. You know it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're right. How have I never heard of that either? Yes, that's like an obvious sign. Oh wow.
I watch many of them to know.
But I think this is brilliant because I've not paid attention to the color theory at all, much less in horror movies. Like, yeah, that's kind of like an indicator, right, of perhaps the innocence or the purity or the cleanliness that we want from these particular individuals. Oh, okay. Now I kind of now I'm like I kind of want to watch a horror movie now that I can pick this up.
I
What
want to see if this is true.
yeah. What are other things that I should like observe? Like as somebody who's experienced, if you're like, listen, if you're gonna appreciate horror as a craft, right? Not just like enjoy the story and like as a craft of what it is. Are there other considerations I should have? Like either about like the characters, the roles they play, the certain benchmarks that typically need to happen. I don't know. I don't even know where to begin. It feels like such well, it's a scary genre, so I've never touched the topic, you know? Like
I mean, I would suggest stay away from things that maybe do frighten you.
okay.
So for myself, like anything that's like paranormal,
Yeah.
I get a little weary about it. I kind of get a little scared.
Mhm.
Exorcisms scare me, but I'll still kind of dabble into them here and there. But those are the ones where I'm just like, oh God, like I'm white knuckling the entire time. I'm just like, oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. Why did I do this? But yeah, stuff like that, I would maybe say like maybe try and avoid that.
Got it.
I always also look to IMDb for the review score to see if it is at least a 6. You know, it's a good movie.
Okay.
A 6 out of 10, it's going to be a good horror movie because horror movies get shit on so bad. So definitely look for a 6. 5.5 is okay too, but a definite 6 is pretty good.
Yeah, that's when you know you're in safe territory then.
Yes.
Okay.
It's probably a good story in there. Probably. Also, another thing I like to look at too is sometimes the practical effects. That's something, I mean, probably because I'm so into makeup and all that stuff, but I love good practical effects in film over CGI because I feel like it's so much more real to me.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh my God, that thing can actually exist and it's actually there in their face right now. So it's very real for them. So you know they're definitely terrified.
Yeah, this isn't just like created afterwards, like pretend it's there. And it's,
Yeah, so I definitely really enjoy like the practical stuff. CGI is not too bad either, but sometimes they can go really overboard. Like Cabin in the Woods did definitely use a lot of CGI, but they did have some pretty good effects in there too, which is a decent balance. But that's why the campy horror stuff is really nice because you can really see what they truly put in with all of their stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I know it's not horror, but it kind of taps into it. Was Vecna like actual?
He was in an actual suit.
Dang.
They did have some special effects things for him.
Yeah.
I think with like his whole tentacle thingies probably did, but
Okay.
he was in like the full suit, and you can actually see behind the scenes photos where they putting him in the makeup.
Yeah.
It's intense. It's like a full on pants, shirt.
Oh gosh.
I can't imagine going to the bathroom in that thing.
No, you're
Like I
not.
have a hard time when I'm doing certain cosplays. I'm like, oh my god, how am I supposed to go to the bathroom?
But honestly, if you find an easy solution, let me know because that's a pain. No,
Yep.
no. And imagine like in a full Vecna suit, like you're not.
I
Just
don't know if they had like a little like zipper. Like I don't know.
a
You know,
tube. I don't.
maybe one of the tree bark has like a little hole in it or
Yeah,
something. I
just
don't
like-
know. Sorry, didn't mean to do it like a whole hand. Sorry.
No. You're helping with the visualization. Thank you for that. You're a storyteller in
The
many
whole like
ways.
nosy for sure in there.
That is an option.
Oy.
Oh man. But you're right. I think I appreciate that, especially like your own, as you are a crafter, you're a creative, making your own out of like the yarn and the bodysuit, right? I think that's hilarious. A hole for a shiwi. Bumble
But
asks,
they need that.
yeah, yes. Did they say how many cardboard tubes or toilet paper rolls they went through to make that Vecna suit?
And they did not. And they definitely probably used some other stuff way better than what I did.
You never know.
Because like I also did like the bark on my face, and that was toilet paper and latex. Because I was like, all right, let's roll these nice and thin and just stick them on your face, and then take more latex and see what happens.
Props
I
all
pulled the
the
whole
time
thing
so
off
cheap.
the stream after.
Did you like just rip it off? Like this is a fake beard
Yeah.
of sorts.
It feels so good. Like,
Listen.
oh my god, like all the little probably peach fuzz that you have is probably gone. Any sort
Oh.
of blackheads go like just come right out. It's like a nice facial.
Yeah, you get
A little
nothing
painful,
left,
but it's
though.
like a nice facial. Because I just feel so good after. I'm like, oh.
I think it's creative. Like they could have used it. Probably, maybe. There's tons of props. Like, wasn't it in Star Wars? Like the little comms were actually like children's walkie-talkies that they just broke off some of the other pieces from. Like there's a
little
lot of
certain ways.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
can visualize it, I feel like you could just make it happen. You just gotta
Mhm.
try. Even if it fails.
Yeah. Yeah. I think even so I'm more of the Star Wars. Like I think Luke Skywalker had like just a pair of normal jeans and they just took his pockets off, like unsewed those. Like it,
Yeah, see?
yeah, there's a
Thrifting.
lot more. Like it's much more accessible than some people might think. But I like this because it's appreciating the craft of the art actually made behind it. Now you have a variety of horror decorations behind you. Are there
Little
particular
stuff.
ones that you really love? You're like, this is my prize possession.
Ah,
Ta-da.
oh, okay. I do have something that I think is really cool, and it was
Ooh.
gifted to me by a friend. I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
And I'll grab, I actually have my Vecna hand, but it's a little broken, but I'll show you it too.
We love a good show and tell. Ooh, I love this. I love this. Here you go. I can't wait.
All right.
Perfect.
I have a
Perfect.
lot of things in here. I mean, you can see my little shrunken head. This is
Yeah.
a little something. But yeah, this was my hand for Vecna,
Oh my
and I kept it. I think one of the fingers is missing though because it broke off. But again, it was just like paper towel and
Oh my
whatever. I don't know how I got my hand out of it, but I did eventually.
That is
um,
so cool. Actually, if you had told me Vecna just had 4 fingers, I'd be like, yeah,
I
that
would have believed
checks.
it.
Right? I don't know.
I say something before someone notices.
Yeah, like you could have said it.
Perfect example.
In a lot of animations, they just give him 4 fingers because it looks better for whatever reason. You know, so I just assumed like, yeah, I guess maybe for Vecna, they gave him 4 because 5 looked crowded on his hand. He's a, being from D&D. Why would he need to have 5? It's not like he's it's
Exactly.
I would have bought it. Listen, don't call things out like that anymore. How dare
I
you?
know.
That's so cool though. I love
Yeah,
it.
that was paper towel and glue, and then I just painted it. It was paper mache. You could probably like see inside the paper towel and stuff. But yeah,
Okay, that is brilliant. I love that. I think that is hilarious and talented and clever. That's amazing. Okay.
but the favorite piece that I have in my room,
Yes.
one of my friends worked on, well, does a lot of special effects stuff,
Mhm.
in film, and the Saw franchise is like one of my favorites
Mhm.
ever. And for my birthday, they ended up gifting me a piece of Jigsaw's puzzle piece skin, but they turned it into resin. So I got this really dope mounted resin skin piece.
Oh my gosh.
So it's completely hard. Can't change color because silicone will change color and get old and crack. But yeah, so they gifted this to me and mounted it on a little board. It was in a shadow box, but that shadow box shattered. But this lived, so it's fine.
That is wild. Also, people
Yeah,
were like,
that's
what is
probably one
that?
of the cool things.
Do you have stretched skin on your wall? Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's amazing. I do not have good memories of Saw. I went to the theaters to see it with a group of friends, and of course, it was day of, and it was busy, and so I ended up having to sit by myself. I did not.
Oh
I did not
no.
enjoy it. I was already like,
Yeah.
again, social nerves, right? And so when your group goes and they all sit separately from you, it feels like, oh, I'm supposed to be here, and now I'm in this horror place. Yeah. Um.
As much as I love it,
Yeah.
I feel like he could be very real because he's a
Yes.
real person and
Yes.
an evil genius to make these contraptions. And it's like, does he technically murder the person, or is it the person murdering themselves because they couldn't get themselves out and he's just an accomplice? Like, what is it? He's definitely a murderer, but he's like an accomplice.
It's an
Maybe
interesting
he's
situation,
charged
right?
for
Like,
kidnapping.
yeah, for sure. Like, that's for
Yes.
sure.
Nobody
Absolutely.
counts that he'll be in jail forever, but you know.
That is insane. I love, like, okay. One, Saw is very interesting as a concept. And we're on what, like, Saw 6?
I think there's 7, I believe, and
Okay.
then there's the Jigsaw movie,
Okay.
and then there's Spiral, and then they made 10. They just made 10, I believe.
Okay.
So
That's
yeah,
a lot.
so I think that would be technically 10 now. But I think they're doing another one too, and I'm like,
Of course.
oh, I still haven't seen 10. It's on my list,
Okay.
but I heard it's really good.
Okay. Okay. I want to know because a lot of horrors stories tend to have a series, right? Like there's also the Halloween series that comes out. Like these aren't often one-time things. Or even when I think of like the hauntings, like it seems like a lot of them could be grouped together, like in certain styles.
True.
Right? Like what do you think of them like continuing the story? Like that Jigsaw is still continuing out there, or I'm gonna really embarrass myself. I don't know the guy who's behind the mask in Halloween, but like that he's still out there.
Michael Myers,
Thank
not
you.
the comedian.
Dang it. I knew. I was like, I should have guessed, but okay, I'm glad I didn't because anyway, what do you think of like when they choose to make these into franchises, series? Like let's continue to tell this more. How do we advance it?
Honestly, sometimes I feel like just let them die. Just let it
Yeah.
die. Like the originals are solid. You know,
Mhm.
I get you want to remake something, but unless it's done really well, like reprising something, it has to be done right. At least
Mm.
for me, it has to be done right. And I could just be a snob about it. Like I was never really a fan of the Michael Myers Halloween series. I
Yeah.
loved Halloween 3 because it wasn't really about him.
Mhm.
So it was a very different take on it. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Um, I just feel like I get it. Slow stalker, fine, get it.
Yeah.
But I love when someone has a personality. So
Mm.
Freddy Krueger is probably like one of my top favorites, and Ghostface is one of my top favorites.
Okay.
But I don't really enjoy the new Scream movies. I think that they kind of pull away from what made Ghostface like kind of goofy and stuff. Like they still do it, but it's no Matthew Lillard, okay? You need Matthew Lillard, you need Skeet in there. Like they are just bread and butter, okay?
Yeah.
They made it good.
They're too
They made it
tied to it.
juicy. Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund like nails it. So they tried to reprise it in like 2010 or something. I don't remember what year it was, probably
Yeah.
before then. No, maybe it was that year. And they just like hooked on something that was so negative, and I can maybe see why, but also at the same time, because like he kidnaps children and he
Yeah.
goes into your dreams and he kidnaps them, kills them, whatever. But they took it in a different way, and they really like were going at it on that topic. That's like more sensitive. I don't want to say it, but so I was just like, I don't like this. You should just let it be. So if they ever decide to bring Freddy Krueger back, you need England, or you need somebody that will be embodying England, because whoever
Mhm.
did it before it was weird. Even his voice was weird. He was like, I'm Batman. But it's like, no, you're not Batman. You're Freddy.
Like,
It
this
just
isn't the
wasn't, it didn't
same.
work.
Yeah. Please stop. Please stop. Like we see, there's trying to do a reimagining here, and it's not working. Okay.
Mm-mm. Even
What?
like the Jason ones they did, Jared
Yeah.
Padalecki was in it. I was like, that's the only thing that was really good about that. But other than that, because I was into Gilmore Girls, so I was like, yay! Oh, this movie wasn't that great.
Oh. Is that the hard thing? Because like trailers can seem really promising and terrifying, but the actual
Yeah.
delivery, like that's hard to do because now you're promising your audience that they're going to be scared or shocked or thrown, and that's a high bar to hit versus like we're gonna make you laugh. That feels a lot easier than making people scared.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's really hard because it's like you have something that one has like this big cult following, people love it till this day.
Hmm.
And then you also want to have like a younger audience probably join in on this because to be honest, I was very much of like, I only like modern horror. I don't like what these like 80s films are and blah, blah, blah. Like they're too campy for me. I love them now. Like they are the best things ever for me. When I see or compare into movies now,
Yeah.
it's not that great. Like they're good. There's some good storytelling there, but
Hmm.
it's not as terrifying as it used to be because like now we have all these new means of technology. So there's all different ways that we can get in contact with somebody like someone's in your house. But it's like back then it's like I only have this rotary phone. Like what am I gonna do? So you're just kind of like, oh goodness, what's gonna happen? So,
Hmm.
trying to bring something that is so beloved from back then till now,
Hmm.
they're trying to keep up with the times, but then there's like the fans that are just like, no. But then TikTok kids are like, yes. You're like, God damn it.
We can't let this
No.
die. Please, please.
But yeah, no, they also did recently. I kind of have like a love hate with it, but like even the Texas Chainsaw films,
Mm,
they redid a Netflix version, and Netflix has sometimes pretty good movies.
yeah,
Sometimes they kind of miss the mark sometimes,
they
but
try.
just like everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought they did a pretty decent job on it.
Okay.
They could have done a little bit better on some of more of like the character building, but they
Mhm.
definitely did a much better job than what some other remakes did.
Mm.
So I do think that there is still potential out there.
I think that's fair. Like you have your favorites, like where horror could really easily exist, where the dangers felt a lot more unknown. It's kind of like you don't have modern day pirate stories because we've explored the world, right? Like we know we
Yeah.
don't see any sea monsters out there. At best, we might be able to get something with like the Bermuda Triangle, and that's about it. And even then, we're learning more and more about it, so it's slightly less terrifying of a
True.
phenomenon, right? It's like so when we get in moments like that, it does make sense of like, yeah, we only have this rotary phone, or yes, it's easy for like the power to go out, and I have no other means of connecting or talking to people or reaching out to individuals versus today where we have all this other knowledge or experience. But I appreciate that you're also like, there's also a few stories that can still be done well, right? It's not like there's a hard line. Yes, this is only good. Yes, this is always bad. I think that really keeps you open to what can be told and what creators are still putting out there.
I agree. And like, I don't mean to bring it to this because obviously it's
Yeah.
based off my name, but Evil Dead, for example.
Yes.
So they have their whole cabin in the woods. This is
Hmm.
where it happens. This is when they bring something to this universe.
Yep.
What I really enjoyed about Rise, Evil Dead Rise, which is the most modern one that came out
Hmm.
last year, I like that they brought it to a big city and you get to experience it in real life in real time. And they modernized a lot of things, but they still made it terrifying to the point that you felt a lot of level of empathy for the
Hmm.
baddie, the
Hmm.
big bad. You felt for all of the victims. You were in this environment of like a tall apartment building, and you're just like, oh my God, like a lot of people are renting these days. You
Yeah.
can't afford a house half the time. We're probably all in a freaking condo or an apartment somewhere
Hmm.
or in someone's basement. I don't know. But either way, so
Relatable.
bringing this to modern life, I thought they did really well. And there's a lot of fans that definitely didn't like that take, but they still
Mm.
found a way to still bring it back to where it all started at a cabin and then bringing it to real life. And I
Yes.
think that was really unique. Um, and instead of like a traditional book, they bring out something more
Mhm.
modern that kids these days love. So
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't seen it, I definitely say go see it because it's really good.
Well, and that's probably why, like, you have to go to more extreme situations. Like, why Saw still works in very modern times because they're removed from any of that technology, right? Or it's only like their power is removed. They're not in environments that they feel comfortable or that they can make the decisions that they want. And that's why it can exist and still continue on here where we are now, versus if we were being chased by a serial killer, right? We might go with different options at this point, right?
It's true. Yes.
Like who we can reach out to, how we cover things, who, our ability to protect
Someone's going to
ourselves.
film it. It's going to end up on the internet. Someone's going to see it. I mean,
Yes.
people are seeing UFOs these days and they're
Yes.
just like, oh my God. And you see it on Twitter and they're
Mhm.
like, take it down, take it down.
Yes, yes. You mentioned, of course, like Netflix and some of these very popular TV shows. I see in chat questions about American Horror Story. What's your take on that one? This anthology that often
Ooh.
reuses some of the same actors. Oh, you're making a face.
So I love it. I actually really do love it.
Okay.
It's funny because it's the same way that I feel. I don't know if anyone watches the Mike Flanagan shows, like The Haunting of Hill House or House, the House Fall of House of Usher,
Oh, yeah.
Bly Manor, those ones. So it's kind of all like the same, where it's like the same people, but then
Hmm.
they're playing different characters. The very first American Horror Story, I absolutely fell in love with because it was all about like serial killers that, or like stories that were very well known.
Hmm.
Like the Dahlia murder, which was actually one of my very favorite. It sounds weird to say it's my favorite murder story, but it was like one of my favorite stories when I grew up to like investigate and learn about. And I did like a whole play for school.
Oh.
In high school, I wrote a play about it, and
Yeah, you did.
I filmed it. I had someone film some of the
What?
B-roll stuff, and it was
Does
really, really cool.
does this
Um,
exist somewhere for people to watch?
I don't actually. I think I do have my B-roll stuff. Baby Ash, like grade 11. I don't know how old am I? Like 15, 16.
That sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
small Ash. But yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect. I did love Coven because I have like a thing for witchy stuff.
Yes.
So that was pretty fun. But I find that some of them get a little weird. Like they start really good and then they get really weird. But I do love that they use the same people, to be quite honest. I do really
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Then it shows the ranges of all the different characters too, of what they have. So it really shows how good they are.
Yes. It was clever, and it really does, like, to see them re-envisioned in different characters. And it's a weird take because knowing that it's an anthology, we should see like, okay, each season they are brand new, but at the same
Mhm.
time, it's hard not to imagine like this was them in another life. Like there's still like some reason it still feels like you can pull threads across.
You almost forget, like they
Yeah.
do so well that I'm like, oh, I forgot that you were this person in this one. But now you're like, oh, you're good.
Yes. Yes. You're like,
What?
I don't understand this. I don't feel comfortable with this. Yeah.
But yeah, that was the same thing with like the Mike Flanagan ones. Like
Yeah.
the characters that they have are just so strong. Like all the actors that they have are very talented. Like if you get a chance to watch it, it's not like too spooky
Okay.
ish. It's not that spooky. It is,
Ish.
but like it's fine. You might know when to expect certain things, but yeah, they're so well done. Like the stories are just so enriching and good.
Hmm.
So
If there's
I
one
would
to get brave
recommend.
enough for, that's what to. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. But that's important to know. Like 3.8 on the spook scale. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
I did watch The
Out of
Coven.
5 or 10?
Yeah, out of 5. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I did watch The Coven because it looked really fascinating. I was like, I like this concept, and it was. I thought it was really interesting. It also brought up a few other issues. I think as we get more into if and me totally guessing with horror, like there's always some touches of like this perception of power or ability that is kind of follow through of what the character thinks they can do, what they do, how they are able to control and maintain themselves in situations. Do you think that is an accurate description of like that characters have to deal with in horror, or am I just making
I think
stuff
so,
up?
and I almost feel like that can go over to really any sort of film
Yeah.
even too, where it's like, for example, like I don't know if Horrible Bosses is like the right thing to even compare it to, but it's just like, it's the first movie that
Not the
popped into my
genre.
head. I don't even know why. I don't know if anyone wants this job or I don't know. Maybe Wolf of Wall Street. Maybe that's a better
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
better example. I
Okay.
don't know where Horrible Bosses came from. Anyway,
Naturally. Yeah, no, there's balance.
I don't
There's
even think I've
balance with
ever
Horrible
mentioned that movie at
Bosses.
any point in my timeline unless I've actually seen it. So
I mean, of fairly very different energies. So I think there's good
Very.
balance there. Yes.
but yeah, I just feel like somebody who it probably is like their personality of
Yeah.
like they get a little glimpse of what it's like to have some sort of power when they didn't have it.
Mhm.
And then they're just like, I want just a little bit more. And then you get a little bit more. And then you're like, oh, this feels really good. And it's almost like if you go into something where they're like
Mhm.
an addict or it is somebody who wants more money. Like there's always going to be some sort of thing that you can relate to, or not necessarily you may personally relate to, but you can definitely see it on all scales of genres where it's like most people just really want that power
Yeah.
and they will do anything to get it and they don't care who they're going to step on to do it. So
There's that balance of like, what do you want power over? Just what you need to make sure that you're taken care of, or like power over others? Okay.
and sometimes those people, even in horror, where they're like, oh,
Mhm.
it's only just to have a bit more confidence or
Yeah.
whatever. Like Jennifer's Body, for example, like she
Yes.
gets her power and
Mhm.
she's like getting more confident and feeling a little bit more sexier. And then she's being a little bit more daring and like starting to do the killings. And then she's like, I want more. So it's like little pieces where she's like, I'm fine. I'm normal. I'm
Yeah.
fine. But I have like a hunger for boys. And like I'm hungry. And then it's just like,
Naturally, you
woo.
know?
But so yeah, it's just like little things just keep going and going until it's ends up being the demise of someone. And it just shows you what can happen. You may have all this power, but
Mhm.
just like that, someone's gonna get rid of it for you. So
Wow. I think that's a fair point. Like that, give and take in situations and how we take it and what pushes us or why we crave certain power. I think you're right on, especially with that addiction, right? And that can look like a lot of different ways. I've not seen Jennifer's Body, but I've gotten the premise, right, behind it.
I
I mean,
love
who
it.
couldn't, right? Because, like, I mean, when Megan Fox was there, like, the trailers were everywhere for it. Like, you could not miss it at that point.
I definitely feel like they really leaned into like the sexuality of her, and that's unfortunate. But there's also like the time that movie came out, because then also when you listen to the dialogue
Mhm.
of the script, it's very dated.
Yeah.
So there's certain things they're like, you can't say that anymore. you can't do that. That's
Yeah.
really bad.
They've been sitting on that
Um,
script for a while, waiting for like the right actress, and like, well, the timelines didn't exist, but let's push forward with it anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it overall, it's a really great
Mhm.
film, and it kind of in a way falls into that campiness, but like it's very modern. It's just goofy and scary, but not terrifying. Like I think that would be like a 2 on the 5 scale, like
Okay.
with and Fear Fine with a little bit of blood
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Well,
teeth.
because that kind of hits in that there are so many subgenres. Like it's not just these are horror movies. Like there's different like gore and jump scare and thriller and what am I missing in that list? Because there's a lot, isn't there? Like subgenres of how we break it up.
I mean, there's definitely like the comedy horror too. So
I
like
didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Zombieland, like
Yeah,
you
that
or
one's-
Shaun of the Dead, like it's super goofy and silly,
Yeah.
but like they still have elements of like these scary zombies.
Mm,
But yeah, there's like the creature films, so like the Universal monsters too, like how they have those ones.
okay.
Or like yeah, so the creature ones where there's like Jaws or there's a crocodile or
I never would have thought of
King
Jaws,
Bear,
but yeah,
you know, like there's all
Jaws-
these different
Jaws
little
is a
things.
horror one. And now there's so many shark movies like Megalon. I can't remember.
The Meg, I think.
The Meg. Maybe we'll just say that. That was a lot
I
easier.
just
than
don't.
me
I
trying
think
to-
it's just I don't know the because when I hear Megatron, I'm thinking of like Transformers, but I don't
Yes,
know.
yes.
Because I don't really know the Transformers too well.
That's different. That one's different.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
the
different.
Meg, right? Like that's just re-envisioning a larger
Megalon?
Jaws. But I didn't even think of Jaws being a horror. But yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean they classify it as a horror, and it's
Mm.
funny because I follow this Twitter account, and then they're like, out of these movies, what would you remove? Or like, out of these movies, which would you like marathon? And
Yeah.
which one do you consider horror? And then people are like, Jaws isn't a horror. And then there's people that are like, no, but Jaws is a horror. Like,
Yeah.
people are scared of sharks. Like, if
Yes.
you're scared of something, like, I'm sure if you're scared of the wind, they'll do something about the wind. There's Twister, like, there's tornadoes,
Wait,
there's
hold on.
something.
Would you put Twister as a
I don't
horror
know.
movie? I think that's
Maybe.
maybe we're being nitpicky here because I don't think
Maybe.
there's a right or wrong answer. I think
I
the
don't think so
question
either. I think
is,
if you deem it scary, it's like
yeah,
when people are like, "What's your favorite horror game?" or like, "What do you like?" This isn't a horror game.
Yeah.
It's not scary. It's like, well, maybe it's scary to me. Maybe it's scary to somebody else.
yeah,
It's all up to you what you think is scary. Like, if you think dogs are terrifying, anytime you see Marley and Me, you're gonna freak out. Like,
that's
what do
fair.
you, I don't know.
This is not an
What do you
adorable
think is
movie.
scary?
I like this because sometimes when we think about like how we want to do categories, we like to put everything in a nice little neat box, but we forget that art is a conversation between the creator and their viewers individually, right? And by creating categories, we kind of just force others to see it the way that we see it. Like, yes, this has to be a horror. Whereas where you look at that and you're like, oh, look, the swamp monster's a cute fluffy thing and it just wants a big hug, right? Like it's your interpretation of the art that allows you to view it one way or the other. Like I love the movie Alien. I would not put it, I guess I could see, like, I don't think I'm a horror person, but it is my favorite movie because I just love the xenomorph design. I think it is the best alien design out there. I will
It
fight
is pretty
everyone.
dope.
Right? Thank you.
I have a Snailian.
What? Sorry.
I'll show you.
Oh, yeah.
But you can keep talking. I'll just grab it.
Okay.
But-
Yeah. Because it's the interesting idea. And feel free, anyone, like, yeah, I see there's like slashers, possession, right? Thrillers. I think thrillers could count. I think ultimately, yeah, totally killer. I'll have to look into this. I think the idea is like, it's recognizing
Oh yeah,
where,
Totally Killer's fun.
okay, yeah. There's a balance, right? And ultimately, we get to decide what it is to us.
It's true. I mean,
Mhm.
also when you're thinking of like we talked about, I don't know if we talked about like I know we did, but about like the music and everything. There's just like that sense of okay, something's gonna happen, or like the lighting when we're talking about the color theory. Like usually things that are dimly lit, everything's dimly lit. It's something haunting and spooky or something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's like that those are things that are going to be a little bit scary. Like there's people that are scared of the dark. There's people that are scared of like intense music, especially for somebody who has like anxiety. Like I have anxiety.
Yeah.
So when you're hearing that, you're like, oh God, my heart is just going like right now. Like I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
So I just think that it's all really up to that individual. Cause like even when it comes to video games, like people don't think like Dark Souls or Bloodborne is
Oh, yeah.
horror. But when you look on Steam, they classify it as that. And you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, I guess I can see. Because, yeah, these things with a million teeth and a million legs are absolutely terrifying because I don't like bugs. Like Grounded, that's a
Mm.
horror game to me. It looks cute as heck, but that is a horror game.
Yes. I
I don't
never
care.
finished that one either. So
I will not touch it.
at night, the cockroaches dig underneath your fortress and the spiders crawl at your walls. It's horrifying.
No,
It's
no,
horrifying.
only Stallions.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's adorable. I
Isn't
love
it
that.
so cute?
Look at its little teeth that it showcases.
I
And its
know.
heart. Okay. That is brilliant. I love that. That's the crossover I didn't know I needed in my life.
A Snalian.
The Snailian. Okay. And it's got an adorable name. It fits perfectly. Where did you
I
get
don't even know
that?
if that's what it's called, but oh yeah, it is a Snalian. I thought I named it. I'm not the inventor.
Take credit. It's fine. No. Where did you find the Snailian? Because that is hilarious to me.
At Fan Expo, actually. There's a company here in Canada. They're got like this big costume store, but they also sell a lot of like really cool statues, figures, candles. Like I have a Buffy candle over here.
Yeah.
It says Saint Buffy on it because love Buffy.
Yep.
So yeah, I saw this and I'm like, oh my God, this is the cutest thing ever. And I thought that it'd be perfect for my little shelf over here.
Yes.
So
No, it fits perfectly. One last showcase of the Snailian because absolutely adorable. Look at that.
look at
So
your
cute,
face.
so precious across the board. I love it. I love it. I think this is always interesting because yeah, when we go to horror, like it's an opportunity for us to like face our fears and the challenges we have. Like when we see like, okay, maybe I'm not going to go watch anything with spiders, but zombies would still be terrifying for me. And I'm putting myself in the situation where I want to face this story. And even more so, I imagine with video games, like with the immersive level, what is it like to now have to be like, I'm not just sitting and watching this. I'm here. I'm the one who has to fight my way through this story. You've done Resident Evil, right? You've done the whole full story at this
Yes.
point, right? You have survived the whole thing. What is it like to actually go through the story versus just watching it?
I think that it's so totally different. Like I, for one, like when it comes to like the Resident Evil games, when it
Yeah.
came to the Dark Souls games, when it comes to really anything, there's obviously like a big fan base for them where people love it.
Yeah.
And some people want to tell you when something's about to happen. You're like, "Oh, please don't tell me." Like, I just kind of want to, be in it in the moment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
thank you. But yeah, there's a level of like when you're in it,
Mhm.
you're just so focused, like horses with blinders on. Like you're just like in it, you're watching it, you're seeing it. And then you're like, oh God, what if I click something? What's gonna happen? But when you're watching somebody go through it, you're kind of going through their emotions, but like you're not really as immersed with them because then you're also watching the person playing it. You're watching what's happening. So you're reading chat. So it's a little bit different. Whereas like when you're streaming, you're trying to like
Yeah.
read chat, you're trying to stay focused, and then like things happen. And that's when you get like those natural expressions of things that go on. But if I played it by myself, I'd probably be like the entire time, like, oh God,
I
oh
can't do
God. But I'm
this.
like, no, I gotta be brave. I'm a horror streamer. I gotta be brave.
That's right. Put on a brave face for stream. Do it for chat.
I can only imagine what VR feels like. And that is one thing I really want to end up trying, but I don't know if I could do horror in VR. And my room is too small and there's a lot of things that can break. So I don't know.
You end up like destroying everything as you're
I got
swinging
two cats that
away.
like to come in and out of my room, just accidentally kick them across the room. I'm like,
Nope.
I'm so sorry. Or they touch me.
Gone.
It's like,
No, that's why I can't do grounded. I was doing grounded and the little creatures were coming at me. And my dog in that moment to save me came and like clawed at my leg. And I was like, I screamed to high heaven. I felt so terrible because obviously she didn't know what was going on. She thought she was saving me. And then I yelled at her and I did meet it. It was terrible. It was terrible. But you're
they
right.
don't
Like,
mean to.
it's
They
all-
just get in the crosshairs.
They do, right? They're just there. I can imagine, yeah, the VR, like the fully immersive, like you can't get out of it. You can't just look off screen and ground yourself and be like, I'm not there. Or you can talk to chat and you have a distraction and be like, okay, this isn't real. There are other people here with me. I'm not doing this alone. There's a safety that comes from that. I like that. Now,
Yeah. It just,
yeah. go for it.
because you don't have an escape when you're in a VR because it's
Yeah.
like if you want to look down, you're seeing the ground that you're
Yeah.
walking on, and it's probably not the cleanest ground. And
No.
you're like, all right, let me see if I find a chair in here. And you're like, don't want to sit there because there's some guts on it. Like, where do I go? And then you're like completely absorbed into this and
Mhm.
anything that's around you, like you said, like your dog, when your dog touched you, like
Yeah.
I felt so bad for my cat Shadow. I have two cats, but Shadow.
Mhm.
When I first started to really dive into the horror game, I was playing Outlast, the
Mhm.
very first one. And I went by something and I assumed something was going to happen. It didn't happen. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I let my guard down.
Yeah.
And I go and do whatever I got to do, thinking something scary is going to happen. It doesn't happen. My
Sure.
cat comes onto the desk to like get their pets and whatever. So I'm petting them or like whatever. I was just kind of watching him. And then I'm going through what I'm supposed to do. And the thing that I thought was going to scare me, that didn't scare me, that I thought was okay, ended up scaring me. And I screamed, and the poor cat just shoots into the air. And I'm just like,
Oh, baby.
I am so sorry.
Come
Like, I
here.
Like, it's your fault for going there, but like, I'm so sorry.
How long did it take Shadow to return to you? Like I can't go in this anymore.
He's so like attached to me. I mean, he's not here right now. Quinn is
Poor
like,
baby.
she's been stuck
Chilling.
on my bed all day, but so he ends up coming back, but he knows like the
Aw.
desk. It's kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he really wants lovins, he'll do like the little, can I
Mhm.
jump on you? Can I? And they'll be like, all right. Then I wheel out my keyboard thing so he can jump on it
Like,
because he
this is
can't
for
make
you.
it because I have so much stuff around. Then he's like, oh, okay. So it's a little obstacle course.
They love that though. That's even better. Like it's a playground for him.
Yeah.
See, that's cute.
Yeah, he's precious.
I like that. Like again, like it's another way in which we get to explore these stories on our own accord. Like here's what we're comfortable with. Like at the end of the day, when you do the scare, right? You can always pause the game and you can hold your cat, right? Cuddle with Shadow, talk with Stream, gather yourself and then hop back into it. Like, it makes it a lot easier instead of thinking like, if we were that character in that video game where we were by ourselves trying to deal with it, that's difficult. I hope, of course, none of us ever get in those horror situations, but right, if we go through this, it's
survival, okay?
Yeah.
Like, if something were to happen, like an apocalypse, a
Yes.
zombie apocalypse, you know what to do. You know how to use tape and a bat and a kitchen knife. Like, you know what to do with a butter knife.
That's true. Anything to survive at the end of the day, right? Like,
I think it builds a little character too,
yes. Now, I critique some like horror or video games. Like, I think it was the Resident Evil that I played when we were like, okay, we're going to the house. I'd be like, I would never go into that house right before night with only a flashlight, not telling anyone else, and there's a storm coming. Like, I look at them like, I can't, like, why?
Oh no, I yell at the screen all the time. I'm like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't go in there.
Why?
Don't. You heard a noise. Don't go explore. You leave that house. Like, you get out.
Right? Like, that's not what a normal person would do. Yes. Bring a friend. Bring a weapon.
I almost feel like, what if it was the situation? Like, would you actually leave, or would you be like, huh, what was that? And then want to go see? Like, maybe it was your pet. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
So, like, maybe
for a pet,
there's something.
Yes.
You never know when you're in this situation, which I hope never have to be.
That's true. That's true. All right. I'll buy into that, because like it is like, I guess, because you're right. You're like, you have to find the right situation that allows you to see this scene and to empathize behind the decisions of these characters. Now, I want to tackle a tough
I'll
question.
still criticize them, but I'll be like, well.
Right? I think horror movies also give us the chance to challenge like what we do, how we handle situations and things that are scary. Obviously, me as an outsider looking at horror movies, not actually partaking in them, but observing, I think there's an interesting choice of like when we have female protagonists, or even like the discussion of how people of color are portrayed in these horror movies. Obviously, like Jordan Peele has been making his own ways with his stories. Midsummer, right? Very notable in the thriller that it was, psychological, very much so for my take. I'm trying to eventually get to a position, because I know it's impactful. I know it's the kind of story that I want to watch. I'm not brave enough yet to get myself in that right place. Like, at the end of the day, when I'm tired, I'm like, let's watch Midsummer. Like, I've not thought that.
It's more of like mentally, like,
yes,
what the fuck? But whereas like you watch some of the other Jordan Peele ones, it's more of like, oh God, like, ugh, can be a little more terrifying. Like,
but it's not also new to horror that it's a chance for us to explore some legitimate scary barriers. Then they just kind of push beyond that too, right? But they use some legitimate barriers or fears that we have, and they allow us to expand upon that in a very intense way. Do you think that this is something that is important for horror to do, or that there's a place for it?
Are you saying in the sense of diversity, that like, are you talking about like the final person, or like what horror tends to do? Because I know like a lot of horror movies, like back in the day, like people of color wouldn't make it far in the movie.
Yeah.
And, sometimes they give them honorable deaths, but sometimes they really just like shit the bed on them. And you're like, they really did not deserve that.
Yeah.
But like Get Out is a great example. But again, because Jordan Peele like really showcased the strength in especially a man to become the final dude, and like seeing how that's all going to come together. They really like, he's really putting a place for that genre and for those individuals as well. And like when you look to like back in the day, like Aaliyah got to play Queen of the Damned, and she was spicy.
Yeah, she was the terrifying beauty.
She really took that character and like made it hers. And I don't think anyone would have assumed that they would have picked someone of color to be that person. And she killed it, and she did so well. So I feel like they need to definitely do a little bit more of that. But they're definitely doing a lot of things too, where they're intertwining different cultures as well. And especially a lot of inspiration from other cultures too. Like, for example, like the J horrors, like Korean
Mm.
films. Like they're
Ooh.
so well done
Mhm.
and so terrifying
Yeah.
that a lot of like westernized versions of horror are really taking inspirations from them now and really bringing that to light, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And you can see those inspirations coming in, which is really awesome.
Now, correct me, was like The Ring also like inspired from an original movie
The
over
original was Ringu, which
Ringu?
is
That's it.
ring.
Yes.
So it was a little bit different where they
Okay.
still took the character
Hmm.
um and brought it to a modern day version of who she was.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
so it's definitely on a
Hmm.
different scale. Same with the Grudge. Like there was the original Grudge, and then they brought the Grudge out with Sarah Michelle Gellar, and I was like, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy, yes.
You're like,
Full
sign me up.
circle. But yeah, I also didn't really enjoy that one, but
Uh-huh.
it's fine. But
Yeah.
again, the originals definitely do so much better, and sometimes they
Yeah.
can really make things very well done.
Hmm.
Um, no, I don't think that one was actually. I thought that was an English version, but it's not. Because I was thinking of the Train to Busan and then Peninsula because I watched Peninsula, but I can't remember. I
Yeah.
think that one was still Korean. Yeah, that was still Korean. There wasn't that one. No, no,
I
it was
did
very
watch Train
good.
to Busan. It wasn't my choice. The students were watching and they needed a teacher to supervise it.
Oh, fair.
So I
It's
said,
so
sure.
good though.
It was. It was
It's
horrifying, but
very good. Like an
oh,
emotional roller coaster. Like it hit every point in there for me where I'm just like, this is like a 10 out of 10 zombie film because you're just like, zombie films are so overly done.
mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
damn,
Yes.
they really did really good.
I think that one was so successful because you're right. From the very beginning, it's the human stories, right?
Mhm.
All of these other things, like they're just to push the humans to do more, or the beings, right? There are our main characters to do more of what they should, to challenge themselves, to try to survive, to in that survival, hopefully discover what it means for them to be human, to be alive in that moment. Or at least that's what I feel like when I'm trying to get through some of those.
Well, it's true because like a lot in films, I don't know if you or like films, television, games, books,
Hmm.
a lot of the time, like I think I even mentioned it earlier, is that they really heavily put it on like the female's back of being like, you're gonna end up being the big bad.
Yeah.
You're gonna be possessed. You're gonna do this and do that because they end up
Yeah.
finding that connection with the audience where you're just like, you fell in love with this character.
Hmm.
They showed their heart, how lovely of a person they probably were,
Yeah.
if they were. But you just end up growing so close that when you see a turning point where they become the bad, you're like, oh God, like I really want to see the good. What's gonna happen? Like, I hope you get saved. Like, so they definitely do a lot of that because they
Yeah.
find that the women are able to portray that emotional side that will make you connect to them that is stronger than how a male can do it. They definitely can,
Yeah.
but I think that it's like that motherly nurturing feel that you see that person, you're like, that could be like my mom, that could be somebody that I know,
Yeah.
where you just rely on them. So
Hmm.
I think they do a pretty good job with that too.
Yeah. I wonder if there's some like just within Western culture of who we associate can have those certain emotions or representation for us. So that it kind of gives us a direction to say like these are the kind of people that we want to see in that role to reinforce that take too.
For
Interesting.
sure. Like when I see like children, they're
Yeah.
really creepy.
Yes.
like
Kids are the
like I
scariest.
I think kids are great, but God, like the
Oh.
way that they are in
Yes.
games,
Oh,
especially
no.
where they're just like giggling. I'm like, please stop giggling. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to hear that giggle down the hallway. Like I'm
Yep. Or they do their little
no.
nursery rhyme songs and it's like,
Yes.
please stop. It doesn't
No,
even
please
matter.
no.
Maybe they're not even like possessed or evil. They just
They're
see
probably
it
just
though.
coloring a little picture, and
They
you're like,
they know.
stop that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't sleep. There's a monster under my bed. No, don't tell me that because you can probably see it and I won't. Like, like
And that's
that's,
the
yeah.
thing is like animals and kids, they see because they're so imaginative and again, vulnerable where they don't
Mm,
have, they haven't grown up to know that things are real or not real. And, they see things that we can't. So I think that is also what plays into things where it's like, it's probably there, but
yes.
I don't
Yes.
see it. So I'm glad I don't see it.
Oh, I don't
I
want
feel like
to.
I wouldn't have been into horror as much if I saw some things.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be too real at that point, and no longer
Yeah,
like
or
let's
I would
explore
just
the
try and
story.
avoid things. But
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Honestly, I love this. I wish we could have more time as you give us this guide because I'm learning a lot. In fact, like I am wanting to be brave. I will ask this one final question. For those who are new to the horror space and we're like, we want to get into this. Where do you think we should begin? Should it be like a classic? Should it be a modern? Is it a thriller? Is it a classic monster movie? What do you want to give us as our first hop in?
I feel like honestly a classic I think would be a very good stepping stone because it's so campy that you might see the silliness in it, but
Okay.
you'll also get the story and the
Mm,
background and maybe want to explore more. So I would definitely try and check out a classic.
okay.
Um, or like I said, a comedy horror. So someone mentioned Totally Killer.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. It's
Okay.
or there's a movie called Final Girls, which I think is also equally as good. That one I believe is a Netflix one.
Let me
Um,
write that one down.
so that one, those two films, Totally Killer and Final Girls, are very much takes on slasher films.
Okay.
So almost like the Ghostface kind of situation. So it gives you that sense of humor, a sense of modern reality, but they also make it less scary for you. So kind of like a little get your toes wet sort of
Yes.
situation. But a
Yes.
classic horror, I would not say no to
Okay.
for
All
sure.
right. Always a good place to begin then,
Maybe
right?
stay away from Freddy though, because that is he's nightmare fuel, literally.
Okay,
So,
except that one. That one's good. Like that's the red
but I
flag.
love him.
Yes.
My favorite franchise,
Yes.
but maybe not. That when you will not go to sleep.
Fair. Okay. And that's important, right? And then I'll just watch a Disney movie afterwards or something. I don't know. Yes.
Exactly.
Balance.
See, and that's me. I love Disney films and I
Mhm.
love horror. So I love the both. I love the fluffy stuff and I love the creepy stuff.
Yes.
So
It's everything together. It's perfect.
yeah,
That's all we need.
perfect little marriage.
All right, where can we find more from you? Like we're saying, like we want to join you for the Discord movie nights. We want to join you for your streams. What you got going on? Where can we find Ash vs. Evil Bread across the internets?
I'm all over, kind of. So you can find me Instagram, Twitter. I am Ash vs. Evil Bread. Also Threads if you don't use Twitter, because I know some people don't use Twitter. But I'm Ash vs. Evil Bread. Very easy to find me. TikTok, I'm Ash vs. Evil Breadites because someone took my name and I'm just like, darn you. So unfortunate. And then on Twitch, I'm also Ash vs. Evil Bread, and I stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we do horror streams. We do half horror, half Final Fantasy. I know we didn't talk about that, but I dove into Final Fantasy. That was a New Year's resolution to go through that franchise. So I'm in the Pixel remasters right now. I'm on 4, and I'm really loving it. So the community is getting me to explore a little bit out of my comfort zone,
Mhm.
i.e., the Lord of the Rings, now
Mhm.
Final Fantasy.
Mhm.
So they're doing a pretty good job knowing what I would enjoy. So
I love it. I love that they
and a
didn't
lot
give
of
you like
chatting.
small breadcrumbs. They're like, here are huge franchises. Like these
You're
are
missing
small
out.
things.
They're like, have you played Zelda? And I'm like, no. They're like, well, I'm like, yeah, well, we're also going through Final Fantasy right now. That's going to take me 2 years.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot. I
Well,
missed out on a lot as a kid. I don't understand.
it's time. It's time to catch up. Now you got all your friends with you. Here we go. Full
Yep.
story, full steam ahead. I love it. I love it. So next stream is Tuesday,
I'm
right?
streaming tonight.
Tonight.
So I am going to stream tonight. So after we're done here, I'm going to like take a little bit of a break and then I'm going to go live. And it's just going to be like honestly random shenanigans, always random.
Right. Impromptu. We're gonna see what you come up with.
We're going to see what happens.
It's gonna be a surprise. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, friends.
Um,
You heard it. Make
and
sure
then we have
click.
a couple of like random little streams of incentives and stuff from my 4-year anniversary. Not necessarily if I should talk about them here, but they're not that bad to be honest. They're not bad. It's just
Throw it
there's-
out. Come on. Just hit us with it.
Have you heard of you've heard of Shrek, right?
What is this phenomenon you call Shrek? Please tell me
Well,
more.
There's like some fun little books written about them, fanfics.
Oh, Please keep talking.
Oh
Please
no, I'm
say,
not gonna keep
dang
talking.
it, come on.
That's it. You just get the little. You just get the tip,
Oh,
okay? Just the
just
tip.
the tip, just the tip. It's not enough. Okay.
But we do have a Lego build, an Inazuke cosplay coming up with a Lego build of his sword. Because I love Demon Slayer, so we're gonna be building his sword, and I'll be in cosplay. But I'm gonna do a gender bend. I typically go full blown in like just who they are, but this one I'm doing a gender bend just because I found like a really pretty wig, so I'm like, I'm gonna make it me.
Do it yourself. That's
So,
right. Recreate it.
Yeah, we got like little random things happening this month, but typically horror, Final Fantasy, and a lot of chatting and chaos.
We love it. We love chaos.
Chaotic good.
Yes. Chaos is where it's at. Okay. This is important. I love it. You've got so many great things going on. Dear friends in chat, you do not want to miss this. So right down below, if you're over on Twitch, title is with, you can see at Ash vs Evil Bread. All you have to do is click and follow, and then you're going to be getting notifications, easy peasy, on your profile, right? You've got the Discord link, so it makes it easy for you to join over there so you can get all the notifications. You can make sure that you don't miss this Shrek extravaganza event that's going to happen. All, of course, the cool Discord horror and all the wonderful streams. Make sure you give a follow, and of course, show support. It's your chance. Hop over on Instagram, catch all of the cool cosplays, the pictures that Ash is putting out. This is a way to make sure that your feed is so much better. So be kind, be good to yourself, and give Ash vs Evil Bread a follow, dear friends. Ash, any final words for us as we wrap up this evening?
Honestly, thank you so much for picking me to talk with you. Like, this is amazing. I've had a great time. I was so nervous. I can't even believe that the time just flew by.
It's gone. It's gone. It's so
like,
fast.
I'm like, wait, what do you mean 5-minute break? Wait, we're done now? Wait,
Yeah,
what?
That's it.
I had
We're
so
like
much fun with
scratching
you.
the surface. We need more. We need more time.
We need more. And also thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight too. Like the Bread Army, thank you so much for being here. The supporters of the gamers and Pink Pixels and of Caustic Phoenix, like thank you guys all for being here. Like it means a lot, and I'm sure it means a lot to both of us to have the support.
Yes.
To show up. So thank you.
I love it. I love it. You're amazing. Chat, you're all amazing. Are amazing. Yes. This is just a great place where everyone who is amazing has come here tonight. So thank you all. Thank you. We're, of course, here at Pink Pixels. If you want to stay followed with the gamers, I encourage you to check it out. It's a place where you can find other amazing women who are doing cool, crazy things of all different levels within the gaming space. So it's a great way to continue broaden your horizons and to learn more about others and to, of course, see what else is out there, right? Just like I've learned a lot about horror tonight. And, you know, later on when I check out, I'm going to learn a lot more about Final Fantasy IV too. So thank you, Ash, for this. Good friends. We'll see you all around. Take care and enjoy your week. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You're amazing.